Rock Solid Radio wants to thank Hummel Insurance Group for sponsoring today's show. Hummel Insurance Group now owns and operates 7 different offices located throughout the tri-state area. For over 50 years now, the Hummel Insurance Group has been assisting customers with insurance needs and questions. For all your insurance needs, contact Hummel Insurance Group at 812-537-1785. Welcome to Rock Solid Radio. This is Merrill Hutchinson with our Special Activities Director for the Hutchinson House, Linda Hutchinson.
Special Activities Director?
Well, yeah, that's
you are. What does that mean?
You're called Mom.
That's true.
You're called Mom.
Have you noticed, if you're a mom out there listening, why is it that when there's a plan or there's an event, it seems like it's on Mom? And I get women literally that come into the office and say, he doesn't get the babysitter, he doesn't make the reservations, and it's like...
Do they say it just like that?
And it's like, well, that's called Mom right there. So,
that's called Mom. Well, you guys, you're so good at it.
Oh,
you're so good
sweet.
at it. I mean, I could never do it as good as you do it.
You know what? You did that with ironing before, too, when
yeah,
we were first married.
So now you don't iron and I don't iron.
Nobody irons
Neither
in the
of
house.
us iron.
Yeah. But anyway, what are we talking about today?
So today we are going to have a little bit of fun. We are just cutting away a little bit from some of the serious topics, and we are talking about probably one that's going to end up being a lot more serious as our kids are just about out of school, and we are trying to figure out what we're going to do this summer with ourselves, with our kids, with managing our work schedules, potential vacations, activities, different things coming up. And so we're just going to have a little bit of fun talking about what the Hutchinsons don't know what they're going to do. So we're basically going to look at Mom to see if she can figure it out.
Well, here's the deal. I had a client a mom who asked during spring break, it was right before spring break, and we had already done our shows, and she's like, I will pay you to do a show on what am I going to do with my kids for 2 weeks of spring break. So as we were thinking about our topics, I'm like, it's more than two weeks. It's months. And so, I think that a lot to people are going to be looking at this show.
Is she expecting an answer out of us? Is that what the expectation is?
I don't know.
Now I'm feeling pressure.
Pressure.
All right. Well, before we get into that, let's thank our sponsors. We want to thank the Hummel Insurance Group and Casey's Outdoor Solutions for being sponsors of Rock Solid Radio and just really being alongside of Rock Solid families and the work that we do here. So we want to thank those guys. We also just want to thank all of our followers and our audience out there, because it's from you out there. Word of mouth is actually where we have found our ministry just growing year after year. And hopefully it's because we're able to provide some benefit out there to couples and to families. And so it's your word of mouth that keeps us rolling. So we want to thank any of you out there that just believe in what we do.
And while we're on the topic of family, we are interviewing for our next round of Rock Solid Marriages. So if the summer puts you over the edge as a couple...
Yeah, you might want to get registered very early, actually.
And actually, we've backed up the date a little bit of our start. We were a little aggressive in our timeline as far as what we thought we could pull off.
Well, we were trying to close down one session and open up another, and we needed a little bit more time to close down a session.
So we're going to be starting and launching our next group of Rock Solid Families couples or Rock Solid Marriage couples the end of June. And so if you, your spouse are interested, you're committed, you're ready to have something better than what you have now and something stronger in your relationship, we really encourage you to reach out to us and set up an interview, just a short little 10-15 minute interview of just making sure this is the right fit and giving you more details of what it involves.
Yeah. So it has really been pretty cool to wrap up our first session as I'm going through some of those evaluations and just really seeing the benefit as well as just the critique on the approach, and couple after couple talk about things that like we've never talked like this before.
Yeah.
And we tend to start to take that stuff for granted because it's what we actually teach for a living. But even we can get so busy that we forget to actually check in with each other in terms of how each other's doing. So anyway, that's been a really cool thing for us, and we would like to offer that to you out there. So reach out to us if you feel like your marriage could use a little boost.
And when we were interviewing our couples, we asked them what would be the one or two main issues that they would want help for. And hon, I think every one of them put communication as one of their top two. And so that was a huge part of Rock Solid Marriages. And that was a huge part of what they said they came away with is, how do I relate to my partner? How do I help my partner feel heard and understood and feel treasured and valued, and how we grow in intimacy? And so that's really the crux of Rock Solid Marriage. And so if that's something that you're hungry for and you need in your marriage, then contact us. And we would love to talk to you about how to create a marriage, how to build a marriage. It's built to last.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
That sounds like a Ford commercial. Built to last.
I like that phrase. And
well, you can't use it. It's already trademarked.
You can say the words. But, we actually created this curriculum based on our 30 years each of working with couples. And so we've really kind of boiled it down, kind of simplified it into 7 steps. And we kind of use the metaphor of building a house.
Yeah.
And how you build a house is built to last. And so that's what we do with our marriage curriculum.
Yeah, it's a very sequential sort of process, because if you don't build the foundation well, everything else that you think looks good on top of it will come tumbling down. And that's just the harsh reality that couples have been married for years and they go, wow, we just never did that well. And so that's a big part of it. All right, so let's get the show here. All right. So let's talk about this summer. Now, I'm gonna throw you under the bus.
What?
All right. Because I love summer because of all the stuff I like to do.
That you like to do.
Yeah, I know that's where I'm gonna go with.
Yep.
Okay. You like summer because of swimming pools and just laying out in the sun, that kind of thing.
I do enjoy the pool. Yes.
Yes. But you don't look forward to summer. Now, don't think worse of us people. Because
I'm not alone. I know I'm not.
Our kids are going to be there every second of every day, and it becomes a much more stressful environment because the kids are constantly another sort of force entity that you've got to be aware of and take care of.
Well, and you brought it up about whole idea of the activities director, and us women, moms especially, feel this responsibility. And you tell me it all the time. You're not their cruise director. You're not in charge of filling their day and all that stuff. But I mean, we are going to talk about how important it is to have a balance of really planned activities, structured activities, and unstructured activities. And so it is important that we are intentional. We just can't be really haphazard about just hoping it goes well. And so we're really going to talk about, how do you set your summer up with your kids at home to be successful, to be fun and enjoyable, and not something you're dreading. Because as a teacher, you and I were both teachers. And so, yes, we cannot wait. And if you're a teacher out there, man, you are rock stars, and I know that you're weary. And so the time is coming when you're going to have your summers off. And so that's why I love the pool, because I wasn't teaching. I was just playing with the kids. And now it's like we still have to balance work and home and kids and stuff. So it makes it a little tougher.
Well, we've talked about this before. I think back about when we were kids. Okay, that was close to 150 years ago at this point. But when we were kids, what was it like then in terms of what we did as kids, what we did as a family, and what our parent interaction was? And I do want to think about that, because I think it's a reference point in terms of what you're going to be doing moving forward. And I think, back in those days, my mom was home, your mom was home.
Yep.
Okay. And working, but not working a job that they had to, clock into, that sort of thing. Right. So working at home. We lived in neighborhoods.
Yep.
So we had other kiddos and families.
Instant entertainment.
Around there. Yeah, there was some of that around. There were anchors of activities. So like in our neighborhood, like our house had a swimming pool.
You were the rich kids of the neighborhood.
We were not the rich kids, but we did have a swimming pool.
Ones.
We were the popular ones in the summertime. They hated us all winter, but they loved us in the summer. We had anchors of certain sports. Like we all the guys, we all played summer baseball. So, and I call them anchors because those were big things.
Yes, that you scheduled
took place,
around.
that you scheduled around.
Yep.
Our neighborhood kiddos, I just remember like all of us would have family vacations. Right? Me and my buddies, we all like, oh, well, we're going to go here. And so it would be a week and a half long. And that was another anchor, like something to look forward to in June or July or something. And so there were those anchor things that would happen. And we just knew they were there. And when you were not in the anchor, like either at the Hutchinson swimming pool or at baseball practice or on vacation, I'll just be real honest. My mom was not the activity director.
Yep.
My mom was, and this was the neighborhood mom philosophy and really the dad philosophy. Get outside and do something.
Yeah. But there was, like you said, there were 5 kids in your family, all very close in age, and you had a neighborhood full of kids.
Right.
And part of our hard part of is that we moved when our kids got older, and then we adopted 3 more into an area where we have 5 acres and we don't have a whole lot of friends on the street.
That sounds pathetic. We don't have any friends.
We don't, there's no kids.
Neighborhood friends.
There's no neighborhood friends on the street. And so our kids may have land and, the opportunity to run and go in the woods, but there's not a whole lot of kids to play with. And that makes it hard. Like, how do you manage that?
Yeah.
So.
And so, we do want to talk about that. Like, well, at what level then, how do you first establish some of the anchors? What are your anchors? These are some of the go-to things, the bigger things that are going to take some time, they're interested, that they can be valuable and fun and all those things. And then how do we fill in the gaps?
Yeah. So first thing, if you're a mom or dad and you've got kiddos at home and the summertime is approaching, get a piece of paper out, because we're really asking you to be intentional about this summer and don't just hope and pray it goes well. Okay. We really want you and your husband or your spouse or your whoever else is in the home that's leading the home. I need you to have a meeting with you and your spouse of what your summer is going to look like. Okay, what are the expectations that you're going to ask your kids? Maybe you are working, maybe you're going to be at home, maybe you are going to want to go on a vacation, maybe there is some church camp or other activities, maybe baseball camp or whatever that you're going to put in there that you as parents decide. Please do not schedule your whole summer. Okay, your kiddos need to have some breathing room, all right? But you as a parent need to decide, what is that going to look like? What's the rhythm of your day and your week going to look like? Are you going to let the kids get up and turn the TV on and have the TV on all day? Are they going to be inside the air conditioning all day long? Are you going to be at work all day and they're expected just to entertain themselves all day? Like, you as a parent have got to decide what that looks like.
Yeah. The harsh reality of it is that when our kids are put in those positions, which our kids have at times, because of schedules and all those things, that oftentimes bad things come out of that. We know that there's increase in teenage crime. We know that there's increase in screen use, pornography use, and especially the males, but not just the males. And sometimes just going to dark places, an increase in some kids with depression because they become a little bit more reclusive because they don't have as much kid or friend contact. So there's a lot of things that can really start to be kind of dark and shadowy, even though it's supposed to be summertime fun.
Yeah, exactly. And so you've got to have some kind of meeting or expectations that are laid out for your kids. For instance, we live kind of close to a gas station. And so, our kids, because we didn't say anything, they thought they could just go up to the gas station anytime they want and
buy. It's a really exciting place to go.
But if they got $1 in their pocket, they're buying a popsicle or they're buying ice cream or they're buying candy. And we had no idea. They didn't have our permission, but we had not specifically said no until we find the ice cream container in the in the garbage can. Like, that's what you were doing on your day off.
Right. So, and this is not to blame them.
Right.
They're trying to fill their time. They're in their mind, they're thinking that it's relatively innocent. And really that particular thing could be relatively innocent, but it also could set yourself up for what other bad things could happen.
Yeah.
So anyway, we do want to talk about how do we go about our summers. what level of scheduling around anchor type things we need to do. And the first part of that you were talking about, kind of like write down your big anchor things.
Yeah.
What are they? What are some things that you are going to know either to look forward to or going to be part of your day or your week?
Yeah.
All right. So we belong to a little community swimming pool. It's nothing fancy. We belong to that, and our kids know that a couple days a week, that'll be one of our go-tos.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to get together. We also have some relatives who have swimming pools, and we will work that in. Like that is part of an anchor sort of activity, and so we know that, and the kids know that.
But and we are working parents, and we both used to work in the school system where we had all summer off, but we don't have that luxury anymore. So I've had to build it in, especially because we have this online scheduling app where folks can schedule their appointments just by looking at our calendar. I have to block off a day or an afternoon or a couple afternoons that I am saying, kids, I'll be working till lunch, and then we're going to come back and we're going to change clothes, eat some lunch here, and we're going to go to the pool.
Yeah, you do a great job of that, too.
And I've got to do that so they know, okay, today is a stay-at-home day, but tomorrow we're going to the pool.
Right.
And so that's an anchor, right, that they can look forward to, they can build memories around, maybe invite a friend, because, again, you got to have some expectations. What are your rules about friendships, about going places, having people at your house when you're not there? Like all of those things, you have to set the stage of what that's going to look like. Otherwise, the kids will be kids, and they will just, they will have sleepovers every night of the week if you let them.
Yeah.
And you got to maybe make that expectation of, hey, guys, mom and dad are still working, so you can have a sleepover one day a week. And we're going to do on the same night your brother's doing or whatever. And so that way you're not being ruled by the kids just kind of being willy-nilly.
Yeah. Another huge anchor is the idea that summer is a time for fun. It's a time for something different, but it's also a great time for your kids to learn to get some personal freedom and responsibility. And so part of the anchor that we really want to talk about too is the actual work and responsibility that they're going to do during the summer. Now, I didn't say that they'd be excited about this part, right? But the idea that they actually have some chores, or maybe if they're old enough that, this summer you're going to actually work.
Yeah.
You're going to get a job. Maybe it's a very small 20-hour a week or 10-hour a week where you're helping out somebody in the community or cutting lawns or something like that. But we're going to also get a job. And the job is not just to keep them busy. The job is also another totally different growth experience for them, right? And one of our kiddos in particular does not like school, but he loves to do a lot of other things. This is a great time of year for him to get out and do the other things and attach responsibility to them and grow some exposure to, hey, you know what? I'm going to try it like this summer. He doesn't know completely, but he's going to learn how to build a deck. And so he's just going to love that. But again, it's an opportunity for them to learn and grow, and they wouldn't maybe classify it as the fun thing, but it is still a growth opportunity.
Yeah, and so really look at your summer and say, what do we want our family to really remember about this summer? What is it that we want to accomplish in the summer? So maybe it's, our daughter's going on a mission trip this summer with a group of teens. And so, that's a very intentional thing. Church camp is another huge thing. Our older two boys have ton of memories of church camp, and our youngest is really following right behind him on that, where he just loves church camp. He could be there weeks and weeks at a time if you let him. And so that's a chance to really increase their faith and their connections with other Christ followers. And so if that's something that you're affiliated with a church and have connection with, retreats, another one. Those are the things that we want to build into the summer so they can have something to look forward to.
Yeah. Another anchor for a lot of our kids are the sports camps.
Yeah.
And so, there are the Christian camps and that kind of thing, and those are great things. But sometimes it's an opportunity for them to do something that they love, something they're trying to do better at. Like our kids would look at wrestling camps. And again, those are anchors. And the opportunity that, hey, coming up in the second week of June, I'm going to be gone and I'm going to really work on this skill. And it comes with all kinds of other things, right? The social interaction with other kids, going away to a new place or a different experience. So there's so many other good things that can come from that, but it's around something more specific to them, something that they enjoy, a sport or an activity like that. So sport camps can be good. I do want to be careful on some of that because too much too fast, like sport camps all summer, those kinds of things.
5 ball games a week,
now where the anchor is actually sinking us rather than stabilizing us.
Yeah, we did a whole show over spring break on rest. And as we were resting on spring break and trying to refuel and really, get rejuvenated, we know our kids need that too. So if they are running all summer long, and I know there are a lot of kids out there that are involved in summer sports, and they are literally busier than when they are in a school sport. And so I'm just telling you, please give your kids some unstructured, relaxing time so they can jump on the trampoline in the backyard, and they can build a fort in the woods, and they can, chill and swim in the swimming pool in the backyard. Like, those are things that our kids desperately need to feel rejuvenated and ready to go for a new school year.
Yeah.
Boredom is actually kind of important in our kids' lives.
Well, it's not boredom is the mother of, what is it?
Mother of invention.
Mother of invention, necessity for the mother of invention. The idea that when the mind gets bored, it has to think of things to do. Now, this is where we can be in trouble. This is why things like teen violence and crime and that sort of thing.
Bored with monitoring.
Yes, they can have an uptick. But it also can be in a safe and proper environment. It can be, hey, let's go out there and let's build that fort, right? Let's go out and be creative. Let's learn how to do something different. So don't rescue your kids from just pure boredom.
Yeah.
Allow them to go through that, and then just encourage them to, like, okay, well, figure it out. What would you like to do?
Yeah.
Work that plan and encourage them. And let's go to the backside of that. So when kids are bored, or adults, any of us, we go to the lowest hanging fruit to satisfy ourselves.
Yeah.
And so Lynn and I, you guys have heard us before. Let's, right from the get-go, mom and dad, you get together and make a hard boundary, a hard stance on things like screen time.
Please.
All right? Phone use, right? Social media. Make a hard stand very early, not a violent, not a yelling and screaming stand, but a hard stand. Hey, this summer.
Yes.
So one of ours is the TV does not come on until the evening after dinner. Okay. That'll be all summer. So our TV is not coming on at all through the day. And the reason simply is because we know, especially if we're gone or out and about doing different things, that they will plant themselves on the couch in front of the TV, and hours will go by.
Yep. And so, and this is really, we've talked about this many times before with our whole technology, parenting in a tech-heavy world. It is increasing the anxiety and depression of our kids, period.
Yeah.
It is. I just was talking to a group of students today about this, and I was telling them, please put the phones down and look people in the eye, connect with people. And I told this story before. I was at a pool a couple summers ago, and literally carloads of kids were getting dropped off at the pool, and parents thought they were swimming all day with their buddies. They literally would find a shady part and literally sit on their phones all afternoon. And I was like, you're at a pool. It is 90 degrees. But that's that low-hanging fruit you're talking about, that our kids, that's all they know. And so as parents, please, that's the meeting I'm talking about within mom and dad. You set the expectation. Put a screen time limit on your child and say, I know it's summer, but you're not going over 3 hours. You're not going over 2 hours on your phone, and I'm checking it. And if you go over, you lose it the next day completely. And let them do some self-monitoring, but also be the parent. Please be the parent.
Yeah. Another little component that actually is kind of can be weaved into all of this is just physical activity.
Oh, yeah.
The idea that your kids are physical with their body, right? And so whether we are actually in a particular sport or we're out just riding bikes, climbing trees. So, we know that now childhood obesity is now epidemic, right? That's epidemic. We have more kids in the elementary schools that are type 2 diabetes than we've ever seen since we've been measuring this. That is is not just coincidental. That's because we are sitting, watching screens, or just hanging out. And so make it a part of your kids daily through the summer that they're out, or, a set of rollerblades, a bicycle, a jungle gym, any kind of playground. Like, no, you're going to go out and just go out and use your body in ways that you don't maybe typically do.
Yeah. And so on our website, I just posted recently a whole list of free activities that one of the local communities is putting on, whether it be free pool days or morning movie days and stuff like that. And so look for those things. They are all over, even literally Google, and depending on where you're watching this and when, Google free activities in the summer for my kids. I mean, it's all over. And it's so important that you are intentional about, again, this balance of structure versus unstructured activities. Give your kids, and like I said, the boredom, I honestly want you around when they're bored, because the boredom when you're not there is when things get kind of haywire and things happen that you don't want. And so if you're there and you say outside, you can be the one that keeps them outside. You're the ones that keeps the TV off. You can some of you work from home and your kids are going to be around your feet. You can tell them to go outside and you'll call them in for lunch or they can come in for a snack. But otherwise they need to go out and figure it out.
You might want to turn the radio down on this one because you don't want your kids to hear this. Especially elementary age, even through junior high, put in something through the week that actually does have them touch back into some of the school academics.
Oh, yeah.
Like the idea used to be really good, hun, about just taking the kids to the library.
Yeah.
One day out of the week or so, hey, Tuesday mornings, let's go to the library.
Yep.
And they'd get a couple books or whatever. And they're just being in the school business that we were, the amount of setback that can happen with many of our kids, especially kids who don't like to do schoolwork from the beginning. The setback that they get, the fallback is great. And especially as the school starts to get ready to start back up at the end of the summer, they have greater anxiety because they're coming back to a place that now they were really comfortable staying away from, and they have great anxiety. Now they have to come back in and be challenged. So simple things like hey, on one day out of the week, or maybe every day we're doing it for 10 minutes or whatever, that you're doing a little bit of reading, a little bit of math. You're just keeping it in their system so that, one, they maintain the skill, right? If we don't use it, we lose it. But two, you're helping them with all that anxiety that's going to happen at the end of the summer. You're going to reduce it greatly. Yeah.
And just, again, our kids want things to do. And so if part of it is, hey, every day we're going to spend a half an hour reading, and you can do it first thing in the morning, you could do it after lunch or whatever. And, our local library actually had little competitions where the amount of books they read, they put tickets and got prizes. Right. And so, make it a fun game, even if your library doesn't do anything like that. Make it a fun game in your home about you read so many books or whatever. And so, or I know a lot of parents that get some of these little summer workbooks where they'll do a couple sheets a day. And the littler the kids, actually, the more they want to do homework. It's kind of funny. Like, oh, I got to do my homework.
And then they realize it's work.
Our little granddaughter who just finished kindergarten, I remember last year, she was like, Mama, I have to go do my homework. She was like fired up about it. And so make it fun, make it, adventurous for him.
So here's kind of the takeaway. If you're like us, you are down to the days before your kids are going to be home with you all summer. In the next days, sit down and figure out your anchors. Figure out your anchors, even if you can put them on the calendar, if you need to arrange some things. You will go so far through this summer ahead of the game by figuring out your summer anchors that you and your kids know you can count on, all right? And so it's kind of like a lot of times we live for the weekend. Well, in the summer, kids live for their anchor activities. And so now is the time you and your spouse get together and don't wait till midsummer to go, why is this a chaotic, crazy, depressing
Some examples,
summer?
and I've heard different families. For instance, I know families that have zoo passes or Kings Island passes or pool passes, and they'll pick a day of the week that's their day. That's their Kings Island day. That's their pool day. Okay. Another one is, and we did this as a young, and I think they still do it, our local theater had free movies on certain days, like Tuesdays or Thursdays or something like that. And so at 10 o'clock, you could go and cool off, and and free movies,
Right.
and that was a chance for our kids to get out and do something, and it didn't cost us a lot of money, got us out of the house, before nap time or whatever. So look around and find those things we know that it can be expensive in the summer. So find those things that are cheap and reasonable, that are out there that you can be a part of, and just put those on the calendar and show your kids we're doing things this summer. We're not going to fill our whole summer, but we've got some things to make some memories.
All right. So very good. We hope that your summer is a good summer as you're starting to get ready to launch that. If there's anything that we can help, whether it's a family situation, a parenting situation, a marital situation, please don't hesitate. Let us help you through that difficulty. You can reach us at 812-576-7625. Check out our webpage at rocksolidfamilies.org, and you can see all the different things that we're up to in terms of just what our resources are and what we're putting out there. So, what else you got there, hon?
Oh, I'm just ready. I'm ready for summer. I really am. And I think it's because we have put those anchors on, and we have really, set our boundaries of what that's going to look like. And so it really takes the anxiety away for parents. And so please, mom and dad, really encourage you to do that. And we just pray you guys have an amazing summer. Enjoy your kids, make some memories, but don't let them run all over you and make it that they call the shots. You're still the parents, so step up and be the parents.
All right. So thanks to Hummel Insurance Group and Casey's Outdoor Solutions for being a sponsor of Rock Solid Radio. Thanks again for listening to Rock Solid Radio, building a stronger community, one family at a time. Make it a great day or summer. Rock Solid Radio wants to thank Casey's Outdoor Solutions. Casey's is a premier garden center and gift shop located in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. They offer a wide selection of high-quality plants, landscaping materials, and home decor. They do amazing high-quality work and can help you transform your indoor and outdoor living spaces into something beautiful. So stop by Casey's Outdoor Solutions today and let them know you appreciate their support for Rock Solid Radio. Visit Casey's today at 21481 State Line Road, Lawrenceburg, Indiana.